Okay, we're gonna do the Journeyman Project, and because I cannot keep putting Ross away. It's a little bit long, but fuck it. I guess this stream is just gonna be long. Yeah, let's do it. Ross's Game Dungeon, the Journeyman Project, long awaited, you know.
To initiate historical reconfiguration and comparison.
Oh hell, we're gonna have time travel again.
I have approximately zero idea. As usual, when it comes to Ross's Game Dungeon, that's a fucking given that I have zero idea about the game he's gonna talk about.
Hey, welcome to the Game Dungeon. Boy, I don't know where to start with this one. You know, when it comes to time travel, it's not as simple as start from the beginning. You know this. This time, starting from the beginning is honestly just too much work. So we're gonna start close to the beginning, but we're gonna have to jump around here. It's just... Okay, so this is the Journeyman Project. Mostly. Let's get going. So we start off and get a slideshow. The year is 2318. I guess we missed the 300-year pre-anniversary. The story takes place in the floating city Caldoria. The world united in 2117. I think it's one government now? Not 100% on that. But somebody went and invented time travel, then the government said, whoa, this is way too dangerous. So they shut it down. Except not really. It continued as a secret agency to protect the continuity of time, codenamed Journeyman. Yeah.
Man, we getting a lot of time travel shit in one stream. I didn't know this is actually like anything about fucking time travel. I thought it's just like some sci-fi space game or something. Holy. I wonder if this is once again like some point and click adventure type of a deal, or what are we actually doing in this one?
So there's our title wrapped up nice and neat for us. That's not bad. Some games I don't know why they're named what they are even after I've beaten the game.
Even Apes had time travel in it. Oh yeah, man. Holy. Time travel stream, I guess.
And now we have some pretty nice music and a rather slow slideshow showing off Caldoria. Seriously, this lasts a minute and a half. I may speed it up a little.
What the
But while that's
fuck?
going, I should mention I actually have a bit of an agenda with this game. Right off the start, it sounds like this might be Utopia. We got our act together? The world is at peace?
The galaxy is at peace.
Yeah, and now we have flying cities, and things are so good, the only thing we have to worry about is time travel sabotage. How great is that? I'd like to see more Utopias. I mean, how many games are set in a dystopia or post-apocalyptic world instead? It's gotta be 50 to 1, right? I mean, to be fair, dystopias are probably more interesting, but I think utopias are underrepresented. So I wanted to dust off this game to take a look at one. Uh-oh, so much for you.
Okay. All of this fucking setup for this was genuinely worth it. I watched this review so long ago, I don't remember anything about it. Then it's either not that entertaining, or the game is so batshit that it's hard to keep up with.
Utopia? Oh, no, I guess that was a dream? Or a vision of the future? Well, we're just waking up, and one thing I need to say right off the bat is this game's sound design is rough and has bugs. That said, I can't tell if
Why is he in Predator vision? What the fuck? Don't show your asshole to the camera, please. No, you don't need to. Yeah, lie down there, man. If you turn off the stream, I will actually kiss you on the head and tell you it's okay to be so dumb.
it's a bug right away.
What the fuck is with the slideshow cutscenes? Like, I'm still... It has to be like some sort of point and click thing.
Or if the direction is making a joke here, by having the morning news by this soft-spoken announcer while our interface booting up is so loud, it almost ignores what he's saying.
of Earth awaits the arrival of the
Energy
alien
level
delegate
50%.
from the Symbiotree Area Alliance of Sentient Beings. Our Megan Love is...
Well, that's too bad
Oh, that kinda hurts my ears. Oh man.
because he's delivering some important news. Today is the first time we will be making in-person contact with aliens from another world to join the symbiotree of peaceful beings. Yeah, aliens made first contact with us 10 years ago saying this would happen, and today's the day.
Back to you at the studio, Johnny.
Thank you, Megan Love. This morning's broadcast was brought to you by Future Cola, the choice of a peaceful generation.
Uh-oh. Well, first off, I like these names. Megan Love and Johnny Ego. These are good future names. Although now I'm thinking Johnny Ego is on some sort of sedative.
I'm Johnny Ego, and you're listening to the mellow sounds of WKIM Too Big.
But more importantly, I think we may have lost some utopia points here. What with the
Maybe, maybe it's illegal to go into work sober, actually, in the future, you know?
news being sponsored by Future Cola? Now, there's the obvious conflict of interest.
There we go. It's 100% a fucking point and
It's a
click.
scandal at Future Cola. The radio news probably won't cover that, because that could affect their bottom line.
Oh, it's that... Oh man, it's that kind of point and click. This is some, like, Flash games of my time quality adventure point and click game. Holy...
What I think people may not be thinking of is how soda companies are going to dominate the universe. Cola companies have been trying to take over the sky for a long time. I mean, skywriting by Pepsi goes back to the 1920s, so naturally they got in on the space program also. Now, I don't know which of these operations were paid,
Peps.
but in 1985, both Pepsi and Coca-Cola got sodas into space. In 1995, Coca-Cola had the first Coke dispenser in space, but I don't think that was at the request of the astronauts. In 96, the Russian government was paid millions by Pepsi to have cosmonauts launch a Pepsi can model during a spacewalk on the Mir space station. Now, skipping ahead, in 2014 to 2016,
I love how these companies pay like an absurd amount of money for these kinds of stuff. And then you learn about them not from fucking history books or like anecdotes of your parents who are like, oh yeah, this really cool thing happened. You learn about them from some fucking YouTube video that uses it as just a, oh yeah, this funny thing happened in the past. Well, it's a Mac OS game. I mean, yeah, true.
there were plans for Pocari Sweat to put their drink on the moon. I hadn't heard of them, but apparently this brand is huge in Asia. That one didn't follow through though. More recently, in 2019, Pepsi, again, scrapped plans to use orbital satellites with polyester sails to reflect the sun in order to make logo advertisements in the night sky. So soda companies are eager to take over space.
Oh my fucking god. The return on investment is terrible. I would say so, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you had KFC fly a sandwich to the stratosphere and Pizza Hut deliver pizzas to the International Space Station, but it's really cola companies leading the charge. So sure, for now, cola companies don't own the sky and space beyond, but look at what time it is. It's only the 21st century. Journeyman is in the 24th. We're not 5 minutes into the game and they already fund the news. So I don't know, maybe I had it wrong and this isn't Utopia. It's just another cola-based society. Back to the game, I find an ID card and I'm embarrassed to say I forgot how to pick it up. I would have thought just clicking on it would do, but no. I can't drag it down, it just stops. Double clicking? Right click? Wait, no. This game was originally for Mac. There would have been no right click. Do I need to open the chips on my HUD? Does that... Jesus, how do I pick this up? Is there a menu? Escape? Oh, no. Escape does not bring up the menu.
Oh, don't you love those fucking old games, man?
Escape was the wrong button. Though hot damn, I can't remember the last time a game let me exit that quickly. That was even faster than Alt F4. Fine, what does the manual say? Take the card by dragging it down to the inventory. I did that! What? Oh, it's a confined area you have to drag it to. Okay. It's a small thing, but I'm leaving this in here just to lower everyone's expectations. It makes things more suspenseful if you're not confident I can even get out of the room. But I can! Aha! Dissolving doors. Alright. Oh, and since this is another game with a Fat Boy HUD, I'm gonna course.
I'm assuming that looks like a bathroom.
Alright, room. But I can!
Can you tell what's the problem with having a dissolving see-through door with your shitter right behind it? What the fuck?
Aha! Dissolving doors. Alright.
We all know that Pepsi is going to own the universe. I mean, the Pepsiverse, according to their design documents. Better get started early. Oh yeah, so this is a game in the extended Pepsiverse. Cool. They started early with that fucking branding, man.
Right? Oh, and since this is another game with a Fat Boy HUD, I'm gonna crop things again. We'll switch back as needed. Well, I have to say, future decor isn't bad. I like the circles and wavy lines in the apartment. We have some background projector, though really we have stuff like this now if you really want it. Doesn't wow me. Though I appreciate the touch that we have a future genre
Oh yeah, I forgot that Pepsi owns or owned Navy, like a good chunk of the Navy.
of music. What does that say? Gear Hytham? Yeah, I don't know. Sounds
Acoustic, that is... You shouldn't write that in such illegible letters because I can read that as something else, man. Okay, that's clearly R&B, but it looks like R-E-B, fuck, I mean funk, sorry. That barely looks like orchestral, I'm sorry. Can you... No, don't do that. Either sit down or... Oh my god. He's such a cat, man. Living on a Pepsi planet would come with a 10,000 page document to sign. Pepsi would be like Wayland Yutani or whatever they're called from Alien, the big evil TM company.
a little too hipster to me, but people 300 years ago would probably say
What the fuck does that say, man?
the same about us. In the bathroom, there's a mirror, and there we are. Outside the apartment, I continue to approve of these walls, and you can go to different floors, and now doorbells double as phone messages.
I'm on vacation. I won't be back for
2 weeks, 5 days, 6 hours.
Thank you.
I'm intrigued that there are multiple people saying they're out for a while. This reminds me of a commercial I saw.
I'm kind of a social media nerd. I'm also kind of a burglar. The couple that lives here posted online that they're out of town, so I'm turning su casa into mi casa.
Based. Absolutely based. Is this supposed to discourage me from... I'm guessing this is a commercial made to discourage you from posting sensitive information on social media. But honestly, it's only encouraging me to get into the fucking game of social media based burglary, because this guy is fucking smooth, man.
And if you share every detail of your life on social media, this could be you.
So there's a few possible explanations.
Plot twist, the original inhabitants are actually robbing the burglar's house while he's out of state robbing because he posted online about his vacation. Now this is some fucking social media based serpent eating its own tail something. It's probably not the best idea to post a lot of private information on social media. But if you do, you're a fucking idiot and you deserved to be robbed by the cool guy. I completely agree with him.
For this. Maybe security is first rate in the future? Or maybe people just don't have much incentive to steal anymore because this is utopia. It's not that people don't steal, but to put it in perspective, if you're eating food in public in developed countries, you generally don't expect people to steal it right out of your hand. So this may be like that. Or it could just be a Caldoria thing. You can't just hop in your car and drive uptown to go smash someplace. I mean, there's uptown and then there's uptown. So this is interesting. The game keeps saying I'm late for work. I don't care. But we make it to our stop and there's some sort of transportation
Literally me. Literally me.
device.
Foreign element eliminated.
Oh, machines kill bugs automatically in the future. Okay, that gets some Utopia points. Now for our destinations, at first I
Also very kind of scary about like possible malfunction doing something to you, but
thought this was a quite unusual selection of places to go to. But then I realized this is your personal transport card. So these are just places you go. Now we're just going to go to work for now. There's a reason for that. The Temporal Security Agency. Let's go.
Prepare for molecular disintegration.
Oh, hell. Yeah, this isn't just a personal transporter. It's a friggin' teleporter. Okay, so we're really advanced in the future. I guess that's why it zapped the fly, too. Humanity is well aware of the movie. Though really, if you're recreating molecules from their exact position, this shouldn't even be an issue. Assuming we have teleporters at all, a stray fly won't corrupt your stream. That's not to say we couldn't have a machine that merges your DNA like in the movie, but that wouldn't be a teleporter. That would just be some mad scientist thing that... Well, here we are at the Temporal Security Agency, and uh-oh, they want the anti-piracy code. Hold on. Well, we're inside.
man, anti-piracy measures back in the day were fucking insane, weren't they? Like you put in this code from your fucking guidebook, or as Metal Gear Solid 1 put it, check out the back of the CD for the frequency.
And now it's time to watch some instructional videos. Oh-ho! Again! Well, the videos are 5 minutes of this lady giving us the rundown. I like the slightly awkward delivery.
The simplest analogy for the theory of time travel is that of a tunnel in time. When someone travels through time, a tunnel is created which originates when travel is begun and ends when the traveler lands.
Well, it sounds like our whole
The missile knows where it is, based on where it isn't.
job is just to sit here all day and make sure the timeline doesn't change. Doesn't sound too hard. Now, the timeline changing has never happened before, but in the event that it were to change, our job is to go back in time and grab a disc that contains all of recorded history on it, bring it back, then compare the original timeline with the present one, and figure out what changed. Apparently, there's a delay between when the TSA receives a warning about a time rift and when the timeline changes. So if we head back in time during that window, we can skip over it. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as we finish the training video, the alarm goes off and we have a time rift headed our way. What are the odds? And look, a countdown before it hits. We better hurry. Actually, not really. If you exit, then come back to the video, it looks like the timer gets reset. But here, let's just eat Cheetos and see what happens if it hits. Shwoop! You have been uncreated. Okay, so this was a pretty big timeline shift. And guess what? That's also what happens if you go anywhere other than work. Uncreated. No Hard Rock Cafe for breakfast. I kind of like the
so it's just like a lame game over screen, I guess.
consistency, because we could have died earlier and had no idea why. But now that we know what's happening, it makes sense. What we should have done is head to the ready room to suit up, take a quick moment to admire this sound mixing, then head to the Pegasus machine to get ready for some time travel. 200 million BC, let's do it. And this is actually one of my favorite portrayals of time travel. I think it's tied with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I mean, this frame rate is hot garbage, but we're getting a bunch of tubes and rings and light rock music. And it all makes you think that time traveling is this fun, even relaxing thing, instead of some painful, gut-wrenching horror that our bodies weren't meant to withstand. Anyway, here we are in 200 million BC. Rah! The interface tries to warn us not to go over the edge, but of course we want to see the death scene. Yeah, this one's pretty tame. We can do better. Well, it's a straight shot to the time vault where there's a disc of all recorded history. Though I feel like there are problems with this plan, but that can wait. Let's head back to the future and see what awaits us. Well, it doesn't look too different. So far, so good. Let's slap in the disc and compare history. Oh wait, first we have another piracy code.
Another 3 of them? What the fuck? At least it's unique. What a world where you would cease to exist if you wanted to stop by Starbucks. Yeah.
Aha! Our tutorial lady has a new hairstyle. Indeed, the future has changed. If we compare the videos, in the altered timeline, there was a missile launch during some peace negotiations. There was an attack of a Mars base. Yeah, I guess we would be on Mars if we had friggin' teleporters. And there was some guy assassinated at a conference. So I guess we have our work cut out for us. Except wait a minute. This is the alternate future. But there's an alternate future. Okay, so here's the thing. I haven't been playing the Journeyman Project. I've been playing the Journeyman Project Turbo. The original is hard to come by, though I do have a copy of it. I'll get to that. Turbo is basically the same game, but got patched up a little bit. The original came out for Macintosh, but apparently the PC port had bugs. Then came the Journeyman Project 2. Yeah, this had sequels. Then came the Journeyman Project Pegasus Prime for Mac only.
I have never heard about this fucking game in my life, and it's a whole ass franchise with actual multiple games. What the fuck?
Which was a 4 CD complete remake of the original, with way more video and so on. And that got ported to the PlayStation, and I couldn't verify if that was unreleased or only came out in Japan. And also the Apple Pippin. Wow. Yeah, there's another console I forgot existed. The short version is, if you weren't a Mac user, you weren't playing this. Then the Journeyman Project 3 came out. Then a trilogy pack came out, which I bought, except it was defective. And they printed the wrong disc for Journeyman Project 2. So I've actually played 1 and 3, but not 2. But we're time traveling. This sort of thing happens. But lo and behold, 15 years later, 17 after the original remake, Pegasus Prime got working through emulation on PC, so GOG released a copy of it, also with features from the PlayStation version. Or at least that's what they're saying. Whoa, so now there's a fully remade version of the original? Maybe we should be looking at that instead. Yeah, maybe we should. I warned you this was gonna get messy. Time to time travel again. Alternate timeline time. Yeah. So it starts off mostly the same with our intro, but then we have our dream, and already this is my issue with remakes or enhancement mods. Instead of a slideshow, we get a full flyby of Caldoria. The slideshow in the original wasn't done for dramatic effect. It was done for disk space. So this is objectively better. Except now, instead of a bright sunny day, not only is it in the evening, but we have such thick tinting, this almost looks like everything is smog infested. Kind of like LA on bad days. Our utopian future...
You mean just LA? I never heard about it either. Oh god, this is the Starship Troopers analog when you watch the ID Resurgence review. Yeah, man, holy, we are fucking digging up some skeletons here. Holy.
Does not reside in LA. I can tell you that right now. So this is already a big tonal shift from the original, and I'd say this is a subjective downgrade. We lost Utopia points here. I mean, I think I get what they're doing. They're trying to make it more like Cloud City from The Empire Strikes Back, and I don't blame them. The approach of the city might be my favorite scene in all of Star Wars. It had a real majesty to it. Okay, it's either that or this scene. This could be my favorite also.
Having trouble with your droid? No. No problem. Why?
I can really relate to that. Anyway, this goes to show how sometimes you can lose things with remakes. but I'm being nitpicky. Let's keep going. We wake up and, oh, they cut out 90% of Johnny Ego's dialogue. Well, that does fix the soda problem because now it's no longer mentioned, but damn, this is a rocky start.
Hey, Sleeping Beauty. Don't tell me you overslept. Whoa, you look awful.
Why are you surprised I was sleeping if you're calling me Sleeping Beauty?
Wake up. Wake up.
Damn it, I'm in Utopia. I don't take orders from you. I'm a child of the universe.
Good morning, Agent 5.
Okay, I like the blue holographic lady talking to me. This is a good trend. This is kind of what I want from the future. I have video messages. This is some date I have.
That's some fucking System Shock ass vibes I'm getting from that blue lady.
Last night. Guess it's a good sign she called back. This is my boss, apparently, telling me I'm late.
You've already been late to work twice this week. I need you here on time for
Agent
a change.
5, you are late
Agent
for
3
your
for the
scheduled shift at the TSA.
Shut up!
Disappointing.
Oh, we have replicators now.
That's a little bit much. Sometimes you lose things with remake. Don't tell Nomura. I remember when they made like one of the best fucking remakes of like they made a complete amazing remake of Metal Gear Solid 1, and for some reason Genius Kojombo really wanted the fucking John Woo action spectacle, so they made all of the cutscene fucking dumb. I remember.
Now, we're leaning even harder into Star Trek, it seems. Card keyring. That's kind of bulky. What is it with this design? Deus Ex did this sort of thing too. This is a future keyring, but it looks weird. Well, I'm from the 21st century. What do I know? Okay, this is nitpicky, but the apartment lighting feels kind of gloomier in the update. See, the original had this cheerful energy to it. I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry. This is unacceptable for our video news. This is 300 years in the future, and that suit isn't even giving me a 90s vibe. It feels more like the 80s. I know I said in Human Revolution that—
Bro, I am literally playing LA Noire right now, and like, this is a fucking NPC you would see in LA Noire, bro. What the fuck is he doing in the future? What the hell? Twin Snakes was certainly a Metal Gear Solid. To be fair, is Kojima wanting those John Woo stuff at all out of character? If it was possible, you know, that Metal Gear Solid 5 would have Jojo tier stuff for the Man on Fire. But there's a slight difference because, I mean, MGS2 has a fucking vampire, man. And it's okay, it's explained in 4, but we had to wait so long for 4. But like, it's never explained why that man is a vampire and why he's so obviously gay for Raiden. And like, you know, everything else that is happening in Metal Gear Solid, right? The problem with Twin Snakes was that they made the game and it was MGS1 specifically was sorta grounded for a Kojima production thing, right? And then to retroactively change it to be more action oriented, where that action was very different in the original, that is a very strange thing to do, I think. The Man on Fire is literally a super villain. Yeah, but there was no need for plain sounds as Snake literally dodged bullets. That is also true. I mean, Snake jumping on fucking rockets fired from a helicopter to fire his own Stinger missile is somehow less believable than cyborg ninjas, gay vampires who... There's just a fucking vampire in the setting now. Severed arm, ghost possession. Like, that one scene with Snake beats all of that somehow. Because Snake was always like... the fantasy of Snake was that he's like a really good normal soldier who beats all of that superhuman fucking funky shit. Like, there's a guy manipulating bees and Naked Snake is like, I'm gonna shoot you with a gun, you bitch. You know, that kind of thing. Also walking tanks that moo and pee. Yeah, exactly. And like somehow him jumping on all of those rockets is the most ridiculous thing, because I want Solid / Naked Snake / Big Boss to be sort of a normal dude, not mentally normal, just physically normal, that kinda beats the odds. And the odds are really stacked against them. Also makes you wonder why you can't do that in the regular game. Also kind of true, like controlling Snake is kind of stiff. He's kind of a stiff dude for all of the acrobatics he does, you know. So when he does some crazy, like literal Grey Fox tier shit, like you are like, I want him to do that in gameplay, you know. Out of curiosity, was this the weirdest future aesthetic that nobody would ever actually want? Like, there is a Whitest Kids You Know sketch, which is obviously like a fucking comedic group, was a comedic group. Rip Trevor Moore, you're an OG, I love you. There's a sketch where they go back in time first thing after inventing time travel, and they grab a peasant and they teleport him into middle of modern Times Square, and he's very flabbergasted, and they are laughing really hard at that. And then they want to troll him even more, and they time travel into the future Times Square. And it's just abstract shapes, and they break down crying and puking. And the guy from the past is just standing there still kind of bewildered. So that's an aesthetic I don't think anybody wants. Just very abstract shapes that don't even look like anything. The best way to cope with it is to never question what Kojimbo is cooking and judge the final product. Yeah, I love all of Kojima games, but that was just a shit idea to retroactively change Metal Gear Solid 1 into something completely else. The remake itself, like, is amazing. It's just those cutscenes don't work at all. Anyway, back to the Journeyman Project. That was a wild roundabout discussion.
Business dress hasn't changed much over the years, but it's changed more than this. Hey, it's my date. Oh, is that Megan Love? Yeah, you're doing all right, Agent 5. Okay, I've literally received 6 notices that I'm running late since I started playing, so let's check out the...
Getting real cut off their limbs energy from all of this, you're late things.
...apartment some more. Aha! Doesn't quite have the human fodder look the original Agent 5 had, but he'll do. Hairstyle. Retro thrash. Ah. Okay, Dragon Ball Z fans. Looks like you have something to look forward to in the future.
You,
okay.
Much like your...
Okay, that's actually very funny, man. That gag is really fucking good.
Rent will be late if you do not begin your morning hygiene routines immediately.
I'm still paying rent in the future, huh? Well, we need more details about how utopian this is.
I mean, it's more likely that everybody will be paying rent in the future, to be fair.
Because I would think you wouldn't need to...
That's a good point, Lich. If you were a time cop, wouldn't you just get to work and go back in time so you aren't late?
Worry about...
I would do that shit literally every day, man. Holy, that would be the best job in the world. You can fuck around as much as you want and just go back in time to fix it, so it's perfect at the end of the day.
Rent in Utopia. But Caldoria is prime real estate. So I can see where the rules might be different here. Yeah, see, look, the hallways look nice, but we have this gloomy lighting again, and brown vision on the windows. I know I'm not shutting up about this, but it's important for me to point this out, because then you won't go and play this and just think you're more depressed now than when you play.
This remake is kind of insane, like how much different it looks than the original, and it's not even like that far apart when it comes to the timeline when it was released.
Played the original, and you only remembered it brighter because
actual real life save scamming. To be fair, out of all companies, I can imagine a time travel company having the most legitimate reason to ensure everyone's on time. That is very true. You don't want your fucking time cop missing Decimus Maximus Ray going back to the cradle of all humanity and wiping us out, you know?
Those were happier times? No, they really switched the lighting on us. It's giving me Trackmania flashbacks. Wait, I know who... Okay, I know too much. I can't say anything. I would corrupt the timeline. Moving on. Well, nice views of Caldoria. Even though this coloring suggests that Age of 5 may be clinically depressed now. Well, the teleporter is mostly the same. Ah, so that's how the future keyring works. Our entrance is a little fancier, and hey, no piracy check this time.
The stream has now two themes, time travel and brown.
Which makes sense that this came on 4 discs. What kind of maniac would try to copy 4 discs?
So help me if I miss the first human encounter with alien beings.
Ah, now that's actually a great point. When you arrived at work in the original, it was just you. But this is the Temporal Security Agency. There needs to be somebody on watch at all times. Really, there should be at least 2. She can't leave until you arrive. The job's too important. And now we have a mini-museum with figures from future history. Oh, wow. I've gotten that look from teachers before. Now, I'm not complaining, but this got me thinking. The Spartan look of the original actually made more sense. Really, the TSA shouldn't even have a name or a logo. It should look exactly like any other office building and should be buried within some other government agency budget and have a name like Internal Requisitions or something. I mean, their whole thing is that this is a secret agency, so they're taking a security through obscurity approach. You can't attack an agency if you don't know it exists. If they wanted a big logo and flashy museum, they should have taken an overwhelming force approach to security. I mean, everybody's heard of Fort Knox, right? That's where the US keeps most of its gold. It's no secret. You want to come steal the gold? Well, go ahead. It's right there. Come see what happens. It's not going anywhere. But back at the TSA, we have another plot element that makes more sense. You're being reprimanded for being late, so you're punished.
Which, kind of fair. By
rewatching all the training videos. That makes much more sense than the original where an experienced agent was watching them for no reason.
Okay, that's one of the best fucking that's one of the best explanations for an in-game tutorial I have ever seen. Holy shit, man.
And there's our temporal rift.
God, it's finally happened. And with you of all people on duty, Gage. This is it. It all depends on you. Get to the ready room. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm psyched. Well, first, let's run out the clock again just to make sure this is the real deal. No, it was a bluff. Oh. Well, we can blame it on faulty equipment. If we head to the Tokyo Hard Rock Cafe, we still get unmade and it looks even more brutal than the original. Okay, time travel, let's go. Okay, this time jump isn't bad, but I kind of miss the rings and tubes and light rock music of the original. I mean, this is more polished, but it has less soul. Oh, and look, the volcano is less impressive than the original. How'd they miss that? Okay, our death screen is definitely better. Yeah, this remake has pros and cons. Now, in the original, 200 million BC was pretty straightforward. You walk down the canyon, grab the key, that's it, you're done. In the remake, now it's this branching path with lots of vegetation. Well, good thing I have the mapping module. Just activate it and auto-tracking unavailable in pressurized environments. Oh, that is so lame. I mean, almost every point on Earth is going to be a pressurized environment. In the original...
Yeah, what the fuck? That is the least helpful implant you can have in your fucking life. What the hell?
I can map my position anywhere, even though I didn't need it here. But here I could use it, but I can't. And now we have to first activate some generator, then in a separate location, activate a control panel to start this telescoping light bridge thing, then open up the panel and grab the key. Okay, I know I'm overanalyzing, but the originals kind of made more sense. I mean, you're putting the reference disk in 200 million BC and hoping no one ever finds it here. Really, the gig's up if someone travels back in time and knows to look for it. But if they did, wouldn't you not want to advertise that it's here? I mean, we have a branded landing pad, a generator, control panels, an alien tech-looking bridge thing. That would let an interloper know that they're in the right place.
Yeah.
And this is all to do what? Keep you from reaching a ledge you could access with some rope and climbing spikes? Or they could just set the jump zone on that same ledge? Plus, we're so far back in the future, wouldn't you want things as low impact as possible? I saw a movie before where this guy screws up the timeline for humanity because he steps in the wrong spot only 65 million years in the past. Yeah. Things could be that sensitive if you're talking changes over millions of years. You never know. But even without
that's based
changes
on the short story. I think I read it.
Over millions of years.
Where they go on they go on a safari in the prehistoric safari to shoot some dinosaurs. Didn't know they made a whole ass fucking movie based on that short story? What the hell? I like how the CEO has to pretend he wasn't openly hostile to the guy he needs to save everyone. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that's just that's just normal. I think in any modern job, the guy higher up than you is just openly hostile to you, and then when he needs you to do something, he's like, "Listen, little buddy, I need you to do me a favor, okay?"
You never know. But even without all that, in both games, I'm skeptical how good a plan this is. I mean, we're supposed to grab the disc, then bring it back to compare. Well, that works assuming your changes aren't that big. I mean, if I went back in time and decided to heat up the Cold War during the Cuban Missile Crisis, there may not be a computer or an agency or much of anything for me to come back to. Plus, wouldn't we need more historical points of reference, like newspapers? See, we're assuming there's a functioning computer back in the alternate timeline that also recorded history and can read this disc. If your big change was in 1962, that historical log may not be there anymore to compare. But a newspaper from 1960 would still be the same. Ideally, you'd want a bunch of reference points. Okay, back to the alternate future.
5. What are you doing joyriding in the Pegasus? Your research reconnaissance mission was not scheduled until... Wait a minute, what's that uniform you're wearing? What's that look on your face?
Retro Thrash.
You have a lot of questions to answer, soldier. Once you have finished logging your report in the command center, I want to see you in my office immediately.
Whoa. Okay, now I'm not a time cop, but I sometimes work with the time police, and I'm gonna have to report a violation here. We're in the alternate timeline now. That means your boss should have no idea who you are. Let us not forget that if we failed to jump over the time rift, we are unmade. That doesn't mean Agent 5 dies. That means he ceases to exist. He was never conceived on this timeline. That means your boss has literally never seen you before. Now, he could maybe put 2 and 2 together and figure out what happened, but he does not know any version of you. Come on, Pegasus Prime. If you're gonna be about time travel, you have to get the time travel part right. Well, the comparison videos only have the holographic lady in purple instead of blue. Kind of lame. They should have given her a mohawk or something. We have a lot more visuals in the original. I like the acting for the assassination on the alternate timeline in particular. You shot me. Really, man?
I just
He's just slightly annoyed. He just got assassinated.
Downloaded the information regarding the temporal distortions. I still can't believe it has really happened. I'm reviewing all of the information about this matter, but it's obvious I can't risk sending you back to change things now. My life in the only world I have ever known is at stake. And no one, no matter what the regulations say, is going to change it for better or worse. As of this moment, consider yourself a hostile enemy of the state. I'm sending robots 1 and 2 to guard the command center door until I can figure out how to dispose of you.
Yeah, I'm glad the game brought this up. I was gonna say, this is a separate reality. If we undo the damage to the timeline, you can bet that's going to uncreate people here, too. Maybe there would be some resistance to that idea. Now, you'd think the head of the agency would be a little more duty-bound for something so important, but something tells me this guy rose to the top because of politics. Anyway, turns out our AI was ready for this contingency and has override codes to take over the computers, to open doors, control robots, and free us so we can continue on our mission. Though, like the disk, this assumes too much doesn't change. I mean, what if in the alternate timeline OS2 or BOS became dominant instead, and software had evolved from that? These codes might not do much then. Well, it's time jumping time.
I mean, with a story this ambitious, you cannot fucking write for every like possibility. It would be literally impossible. So, haven't seen acting that awesome since Enter the Ninja's Shuriken death scene. I gotta see this after.
Again? And in addition to jumping in time, I'm gonna be jumping between games here as I see fit. This is gonna get messy. I don't even know how I'm gonna do this, but let's go. So since we have 3 time alterations, I figured starting at the beginning would make sense. Since if you fix that one, maybe the other 2 won't even happen. Well, if I do that, there's a giant robot waiting for me.
You are no match for me, human. But I love a challenge.
Then I'm gassed. Then I'm arrested. Okay, I guess we're not starting at the beginning. Now, if I start at the end, I get shot with a toxic dart by a robot who morphs into a man, then I die. Yeah, this is sobering, actually.
Fuck, man.
I mean, there's always a chance you go back in time straight into a mess and immediately die. So the game's not buttering up the experience too much. Well, I guess that means we're going to Mars. And here we are. Well, the thing about Mars is that it's not suitable for human life. So we're just gonna be in tunnels inside the Mars colony. It's okay, I guess. One Mars colony is much like another. I will say there are some big differences between the 2 games, though. In the original, we wander the tunnels, a giant robot sees us and ignores us. We get some background on the Mars base that sounds like they may have just hired her straight from the Tokyo Hard Rock Cafe earlier.
Like a heavenly siren, Mars lures us to its inhospitable shores with visions of unearthly splendor.
What sombering tones, man. What calming... You know what I'm saying. Kinda makes me wonder if the recent assassination was also farted by the time police. But they would interfere with that one, not, you know, one of the previous ones? Like, man...
If you go this way, you interact with people.
Also, they would protect us from that, but not the global pandemic. That fucking time police sucks then.
Which is a big no-no. You can walk out into an airlock and asphyxiate yourself. Just a reminder, oxygen is a necessary part of life. We get a train ride in the underground tunnels and finally find an air mask. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but first, let's jump back to the alternate reality. Well, right away, this is more impressive. Although in the remake, everything has grimmer lighting again. Though I think that kind of works for Mars. The announcer is a lot better, but like Johnny Ego, has 90% of her dialogue cut.
Welcome to the Morimoto Mars colony. Have a wonderful stay.
We can asphyxiate here too. Yep. This time the robot full-on tosses us, and it's made clear he's not messing around. Now we can go inside this door where the robot murdered everyone in the room. You also get to see through the doors to find the rest of security playing paper, rock, scissors. Yeah, I think somebody's not gonna have a job soon. Let's say hi.
What are you supposed to be? Get him!
You get him!
You get him!
No,
you get him!
Well, they got you. The tram ride is...
Could have cut that a little bit earlier, because that looked a little bit weird. If they cut that earlier, that would have made more sense. I do like all of the unique death scenes. Oh yeah, that's definitely a high point of any like old point-and-click game like this, where you had all of those brutal fucking ways to die, usually accompanied by a totally unique cutscene. I mean, you just watched a Mandalore video where the Time Police was very much not interested in fixing things and more in preserving the timeline. You are kinda correct. Or maybe the Time Police just works for the ultra rich, and Trump is like, gets fucking life extension, like we get life extending technology in the future, and he becomes like part of the top circle. So they are protecting people who pay them off in all of timelines or something. Waxworks is still the best for death scenes, I believe. Haven't seen that game.
A much bigger deal now. Most of the track is closed, so you have to memorize this route and play a quick-time event game to get through it, otherwise you die.
That sucks.
Mixed feelings on this. Now, you get an air mask here too, but this is where we have to hop off. Because not only does it not have air in it, but this game is simply different from the original. See, in the original, you go through one time zone, get some items you need, then head to the next one, and so on. In the remake, you're gonna hit a wall no matter which way you go. Then you need to jump to another time zone, then jump back, and so on. So we're not going to have a direct comparison here, since this has gone through a blender. Well, I want to stay on Mars, so...
That's weird. That's radically different gameplay. Oh yeah, the Time Police is definitely on the Pepsi payroll. You are right. It's a Pepsi-verse out there. We're just living in it, man.
Back to the past. Next, we defuse a bomb or something, you know, the usual. But then we follow the robot again to the Mars maze. Now this maze is pretty lame, but the music here is so good. It's this light rock with electronic elements and bells and sort of a world music choir. Now this would not have been my first thought for Mars-based music, but it works. It totally works. This gets a 10 out of 10 for future music. And for whatever reason, the choir in this is kind of giving me vibes of the a cappella one from Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? But see, Journeyman has this positivity to it without being specifically targeted to kids. I can appreciate that. And once again, we have these crappy 22 kilohertz compressed samples for the soundtrack. Now, Pegasus Prime upped the quality of some of the music to 32 kilohertz, which is weird. I haven't heard of that before. But I'll get to that. Well, I actually contacted the composer Gino Andrews about this a while back to see if there was anything better. He said he didn't have it, but he remembered the original Mac version of the non-turbo Journeyman Project having CD audio. So I hunted that down a while back, making it the only Mac...
Holy shit, Ross goes above and beyond when it comes to these reviews. Jesus Christ, man.
...exclusive game I own. And sure enough, it has this in CD quality. Now, I was going to share that with you, abandonware style, but it looks like it's no longer abandoned. In 2016, 23 years after the first game came out, we finally got a soundtrack for Pegasus Prime, which I think includes the originals also, and has unreleased bonus tracks. Now, I don't have this, but there could be an issue with this soundtrack because of the time travel. I can't talk about that yet. We'll get there. Well, after the maze, the robot takes off on a shuttle and we have to chase him down in another one. We're treated to a flyby animation of the Martian canyons, and everything about this is so 90s. We are cruising at peak 90s now, people. Actually, no, I blew up the image again. There we go. Wait, no, there we go. We're doing the HUD within HUD here. So yeah, if you were missing the 90s, your levels should be topped off now. You're welcome. But we are not done. The robot takes off into space and we have to shoot him down. This is pretty basic and it's a little awkward to control, but since you're pursuing him and he has no rear weapons, you basically can't lose. Yeah, this drives home another point where I want to say 90% or so of spaceflight games are just planes in space. It's a good thing his shuttle doesn't have side thrusters, because then this dogfight would get real fast. But it doesn't. We drain the energy to his ship, put him in the tractor beam, then board him. Which honestly is kind of a risky move, but fortunately he does.
Yeah, isn't he a fucking machine of war? Didn't he have like a giant fucking automatic cannon attached instead of one of his arms? Boarding this ship is the last thing I would be fucking thinking about, man. Ross is the man who played Armed and Dangerous to completion. If he can find something, he will. Oh yeah, he is definitely driven, if anything. That's why I am so glad he is behind the Save Games initiative, because this man will not stop until he gets fucking results, and I respect that, man.
Not just open up the doors and start mauling me point blank, then steal my ship. He powers down, I grab some biochips out of his head, which just so happen to be compatible with mine, and we are done with Mars! For now! So back to the future, in the original game, we should now head to Sydney for some conference about aliens. Bam, shot with the dart. Well, good thing we conveniently happen to be in a chemical compound manufacturing lab. So we have to analyze what we were shot with and synthesize the antidote. And we're given a puzzle. Whoa. Okay, my first thought on seeing this was maybe there was some pattern in the color chains here that I had to decipher and match up to these shapes here and maybe rotate them in 3D space so they form the correct sequence. Jesus. Or maybe this has something to do with actual chemistry, and I have to bust out some chemical compound diagrams to figure out exactly which molecules can bond here? Either way, this is a high-level puzzle, and not something I would want to do on a timer while the toxin enters my bloodstream. Oh wait, no. You just have to drag the shapes and do blind trial and error for which ones come first. Oh, that's a lot easier than what I was expecting. So yeah, that's all there was to it. Now, let's head back over to Pegasus Prime, because I think there's almost nothing lost here from the original, and they added a lot more. The biggest difference I saw was the original had a more neutral computer voice, and the remake is more Australian.
Diamond hydronate is a relaxant commonly found in sleep and health aids. In combination with other drugs, its effects can be overpowering.
Chemical, complex dimethylhydronate-based liquid tranquilizer. Sending analysis information to molecular compositor.
That is fucking aggressively Australian,
Also,
man.
the original has
hell?
some grisly surgery video while a doctor mutters to himself. This felt a little out of place tonally to me anyway, so yeah, I think cutting that was a good move. The hallways of the convention center look pretty much the same, although I'm skeptical if Australian design is really gonna look like this in the future. It's like a bug colony or something. This look is actually giving me strong vibes of an alien faction for some 90s or 2000s strategy game, but I just can't remember which one. Memory. Now, one thing we get in the remake, not in the original, is all the live actor video, and it all lives up to every stereotype.
Nice eyepiece. Do you belong here?
Yeah, that's about as natural as it's gonna get. What's she holding?
Excuse me, can I help you? This is a private office, you know?
Nice outfit. Security!
Yeah, this is some high quality cheese here.
May I see your badge, please?
Oh man, I fucking love this. Holy.
Security, we have another protester at the auditorium entrance.
I like the glazed look in his eyes as his mouth starts to open.
Hello, Elliot. This is Dr. White again. I still haven't received results from those morphine tests that I needed the other day.
Okay, now what fake accent is that? Upper Midwest?
Hello, Elliot. This is Dr. Walczek. I'm calling to check up on our progress after the neurotransmitter equalizer that I prescribed. I'm afraid that the stress you are under may be a bit much, even for this increased dosage. But
I wonder if she was in Wolfenstein 2009, too.
Oh, Dr. Sinclair! Aren't you speaking at the conference right now? Wait a minute, if you were speaking at the conference, you wouldn't be here! Sometimes I just think too much. Goodbye, Dr. Sinclair, and don't eat anything toxic now.
I don't know. This could be me if I got old enough. I like his floppy disk clipboard there.
Hey, I didn't know they let aliens in here. Hey, buddy, this is a joke, right?
Oh, yes, it is. Now, I guess I should catch everyone up on the plot. The inventor of time travel, Elliot Sinclair, and also I think the inventor of the morphing alloys, even though the remake is crediting Candace White with that, is also a giant xenophobe. He hears that aliens are coming in peace to visit us, and oh no, not on his watch. So he's the one responsible for these time rifts, and honestly, he should have been the agency's first suspect. I mean, time travel is a secret to everyone but the TSA and the guy who invented it. So if somebody's disrupting time, the TSA should have a talk with him first. Anyway, after Mars, we picked up a transmission to his robot telling it to blow up the Mars colony and shoot down the first sighting of an alien craft, so each side would think the other did it. I mean, yeah, that would change the timeline. He's trying to make triple sure we never have peaceful contact with these aliens.
What the fuck? What the fuck is his problem with aliens, man? God damn.
There's not really any basis for this. He says it's because historically, human settlers ended up treating indigenous cultures horribly. And that's true, but those were humans. Regardless, Sinclair isn't having any of this innocent until proven guilty crap.
Why does he look like fucking
so we need to stop
MGS5 big boss in that specific video? What the hell? The boss wants you to sabotage alien efforts so he can fuel the war machine.
Having any of this innocent until proven guilty crap. So we need to stop him, but first we need to clean up his messes, since chronologically, those happened first. But we can't go forward just yet, because this is the remake, and that means this door has been jammed.
He's so old it could be any number of reasons is probably the most real answer fucking ever, man. Like, when you become old enough, you just fucking hate everything, man. You become like a certified hater, bro.
Shut. Now, if I knew what I was doing, I would be ready already, because it turns out there was a power crowbar back at the Mars base that I missed. So, back to Mars! Oh, huh. It sent me to the original drop zone, not where I left. Wait a minute, this is the same cutscene! This already happened! What the hell? Yeah, it turns out when you revisit a time you've already been to, you start all over. Except you still have your inventory from before, and it's now missing from where you originally were. Look, if I head back to Sydney, okay, yeah, you do get shot again. Don't think that wasn't gonna happen. But now I don't have to concoct anything. I already have the antidote on me. I'm reliving what happened, but we have tangible proof I already did this. This is weird. Now don't worry, I'm not gonna report this to the Time Police. I'm not even sure this is a violation. This is just weird. Okay, I've heard...
For the purposes of like going back to items you missed, this fucking sucks, man. Like, imagine having to replay an entire area just to get one item with like all of the cutscenes and stuff, and I'm assuming none of this is skippable because back in the day nothing was. Holy bro.
One theory of time travel is that you don't really travel back in time. Instead, you shift to a parallel universe at a different point. But if that's true, wouldn't it be an infinite conga line of a parallel you from another universe switching to yours? Well, I guess not in the Journeyman Project. I don't have answers for you, but if I were to guess, Journeyman is saying we have infinite parallel universes to invade, but they're all virgin territory. No one's gonna breach into ours. We're number one. We can do what we want with these.
What a weird acid trip of a game, but it's kind of beautiful in a way.
But then how the hell are we correcting our own timeline? I don't know. I don't know what's going on here.
You are also assuming you know where the item is. What if you don't? Oh yeah, that's the classic of old games. You just have to know, man, or just drop the fucking game. Skill issue, I guess. Welcome to the time where internet was not invented, brother. Better get that, better pay for that specific guidebook for this specific game. That is also so filled with filler, because if they wrote a normal guide, you would never pay that price. But it looks like, if it looks like this fat, then you go like, oh, there is a fuck ton of things to do in this game, I better get this guidebook. And then it's like 3 pages of actual guides, and the rest is the author talking about fucking whatever.
Time travel's not always nice.
Wild times, man. Wild times. Or hope that your favorite gaming magazine has the solutions in it.
Neat with a bow ribbon on it. Anyway, we head to the conference center again, open the door, get a snazzy sequence of the robot shooting at us with a smile on his face. That just drains their energy though, it's not a big deal. We chase them down, and then it varies how you take them out depending on what game you're in. We get them, grab the chips, and another recall. Although if we just stand here slack-jawed, I think our death screen is definitely better in the original. The concentrated blast of the robot's plasma weapon cut through you like a warm knife through butter. He had no regrets. Yeah, robots usually don't.
Holy.
Back in the future present, it's time to head back to the future past, to NORAD 6. Yeah, this is an underwater defense base. Now, we tried this already, but this time we have the air mask from the Mars base. So being gassed is no big deal now. Now, if we head out, the robot starts blasting us with plasma again, which isn't fatal, but it lowers our time jump energy. But there's an exploit here. If you just turn your back to him and back up, he doesn't exist. So if you moonwalk towards the robot, you're invincible. This might be the first, if not only, case of moonwalking making you invincible. I know there was that Moonwalker game for Genesis, but I don't think it made you invincible in that. So yeah, I approve. I mean, moonwalking is kind of a superpower in itself. We may as well go all the way. Inside the base, I really got stuck and had to look up what to do. I made it to this door where there's a retina scanner, but...
You got stuck in a 90s point-and-click adventure game? Shocking, man. The only great guidebook was ironically Daikatana, where the book was far better than the game. It had a lot of details and actually explained the thought process so you know what they did wrong. Damn, man, Daikatana was a fucking special kind of a fuck-up. Oh yeah, bullshit checks was such an issue with roguelikes back in the day. Oh, you drank tainted water without a protection amulet? Say goodbye to your 20-hour run. Oh, Jesus Christ. Man, I'll be honest, I don't miss this period of gaming, because holy fuck, like, designers were bumbling around trying to like throw shit at the wall and see what sticks, and occasionally they would develop just an infuriating game, and they didn't see a problem with it because they spent 8 years fucking playing this piece of shit, so they think like everybody will have their thought process. Man.
Couldn't pass it. Well, a walkthrough said I had to use my retinal biochip, but I don't have a retinal bio... Oh no, they did it. This game came out in '93, which I thought meant we were just barely in the safe zone. Even Sierra generally stopped making games that could completely screw you by this time. Not Journeyman. No, I got screwed a long time ago. I'm missing a bunch of biochips. I had to go back and look at the footage. Yeah, right here. I need these biochips to complete the game, and I thought the game automatically grabbed them all. Look, the image even shows them all pulled, except for one that was damaged. I thought I had all the biochips when I already lost the game and didn't know it. At first I thought I wasn't fast enough, which is some real garbage design. You know how in Mega Man you get different abilities from each boss, which you need by the end of the game? Well, imagine you've defeated the boss, you're running towards the item drop, then bam, back to the menu screen. Too slow. Except you can keep playing, not realizing you needed that ability. That's essentially what's happened here. Jesus, I didn't remember Journeyman did this crap too. Except upon further investigation, I wasn't too slow. The problem was I selected the chips in the wrong order. As soon as I get this chip, bam, this.
How would you know? How would you know? How would you know what order to grab them in, man? This is some fucking bullshit. Holy shit.
Sequence is done, you don't even get a chance to grab the others. They did this twice in a row, too. I was going from top to bottom. Nope, should have gone bottom, top, middle, even though there was absolutely no reason to think that's what you should do. Well, good job, Journeyman. You caught me slipping. See, here I was just assuming that if I screwed up, the game would just tell me and I'd get a death screen. I mean, that's the honest way of doing things. You know, I'm usually more forgiving for flawed gameplay in old games like this because things were less established. But no, I'm not seeing any excuses for this. Even from a time where adventure gaming was still kind of new and we're making up the rules as we go, why would you think something like this is a good idea?
This reminded me of a great video to add to the pile. It's called A Game Called Adam and the Legacy of Roguelikes. Okay, I'll check it out.
And that means I need to replay some of Mars and all of the conference and NORAD all over again.
Oh my god.
Well,
so annoying,
hey,
man.
Why don't we head back to
Holy
Pegasus
shit.
Prime? NORAD 6 is another area I want to say is almost a total improvement on the original. Now, they did disable the moonwalking since they must have realized that was too powerful. But instead, if you disable the sleeping gas, then we're treated to some more quality acting instead.
Get your hands in the air!
Yeah, turns out the robot was doing us a favor activating the sleeping gas. But the biggest difference is now we have to traverse the ocean floor in a sub. And it's such a big deal, the game even turns off the HUD to go full screen on us. It's just another QuickTime event game, and I want to say is pure trial and error, though it looks pretty great. Also, I want to say the music is bordering on an 80s chase scene now instead of 90s.
That's a booper. That's
After
a
that,
banger,
the game
man.
mostly syncs up with the original, except you're not automatically screwed. That's a pretty big difference. Okay, I swallowed my pride and redid the entire segments again. This time making damn sure I got that retinal chip. This leads us to a geography puzzle where the robot keeps trying to launch a nuclear missile and we have to cancel it from that silo. Then he picks a new one and so on. The game will shout out a geography location and you have to locate it before the time runs out. Kinda reminds me of something. Now, in Pegasus Prime, this is fine, no problem. But in the original, oh my god. The game wants you to use an in-game trackball, and its accuracy is some of the worst I've ever seen. I'm trying to select Hawaii. I know where it is, it's right there. Can't I just click on it? I'm gonna run out of time at this rate. The robot goes through a dozen silos or so. There, finally. Yeah, notice how the hitbox is off? That's nice. Though that is not the main problem. If the only issue was a skewed hitbox, I could just circle around the target until I found it.
A time, man, such a time capsule, those old, like, point and click adventures. Holy shit, man.
No, this is one of the most frustrating interactions I've ever had. If I tap it, it either does nothing or else moves too far. There is just nothing in between. I think sometimes I can shake up the alignment if I start rapid scrolling, but this is a nightmare. My god! Why is that not good enough? See, the virtual trackball here is a crime against gaming, but it's not like my mouse tracking in-game was first rate either. This is bad. Not what I need with the time pressure of preventing a missile launch. Okay, I've made it to Spain. But come on, Spain's right there. Come on! Missile launched! We don't even get a death screen. It just pulls us back to the future present, and I think we lost? I don't know. The second time around isn't much better. It's just sheer luck if I'll hit the target or not. Well, moving ahead, I did it. The suspense was real.
I applaud the patience. Holy shit, man. I really respect him for doing this.
So we avert the
wouldn't,
missile launch,
man.
and the robot is furious. So now he's hunting me personally, since he failed his mission. This raises some interesting questions. First, I like speculating what would happen to the timeline if I just jump back right now. The missile launch has been averted. That was the big change. The timeline is mostly safe now. Except we have a rampaging robot looking for me and I wouldn't be there. I mean, launching a missile at a country, that's a huge change that'll affect the course of history. But a robot going berserk and killing people randomly, that's not as big, just kind of crazy. I mean, it might change the timeline or it might not do much. I imagine the military would eventually put it down, but they might be really confused as to what's going on. Plus, what's the robot's programming? When the Terminator is done with its mission, it just sort of goes into sleep mode because it doesn't have any other orders. But this one's still out for blood. And that's the other question. How do robot emotions work? Would the robot's anger for me fade in time like a regular person? Or would it be precisely as intense years from now as it is right now? Like he just goes berserk and then can't stop. Anyway, the trackball was awful, so that was a badly needed change in Pegasus Prime. But then the tables turn. Now in the original game, the robot is coming for me and I'm supposed to stop him with this power clamp thing. I click about where he is, then activate. Done. He's been clamped. It's over. Not so in Pegasus Prime. Oh god. Okay, first off, at some points in the game, your controls are locked out until an animation finishes playing, and this is one of them. So you're helpless to do anything as the robot takes 10 seconds to lumber in here. Then I timed it. You have exactly 4 seconds to react. If you don't, you're locked out again, then the robot spends 25 seconds to come kill you while you stand there staring at him. Yep, he got me. So no problem, this time I move the claw to him and grab him. That should do it, right? Nope, he still comes through the window, even though he's clamped. And this next part is kind of a metaphor for an issue I've had my whole life, where people will tell you something they think is obvious, but my brain sees way too many possibilities that seem like they could work also, so it's not obvious to me. For example, there's a rotate button here. Does that spin the entire arm or just the clamp? I don't know, but wouldn't either one work to subdue the robot if he's clamped? I mean, you just need to get him away from you. Plus, it wasn't even obvious to me if I needed to spin the arm first. But no, apparently just selecting the direction was enough. Well, turns out the spin button appears to do nothing at all. I tried it both ways. He killed me both times. So then I thought maybe just clamping and moving him away from me would work? Nope, dead. Nope, dead.
What the fuck are we doing? What the hell is Journeyman smoking, man?
Yes,
Holy.
Literally the last option left. I mean, what the hell kind of puzzle is this? It's pretending to use logic, but it's just guess the button to press. Now, there are no chip tricks in Pegasus Prime, but before we move on, let's talk some more about robot destruction, because this is what matters in life. Okay, on my death screens, you may have noticed a Gandhi bonus. The TSA emphasizes how you should avoid violence if at all possible. So if you resolve conflicts non-violently, the game gives you more points for that. Well, that makes sense. You want to have a light touch on the time stream, except the only entities you ever need to be violent towards in this game are robots. Okay, I have 2 issues with this Gandhi bonus here. The first is what the game considers violence or not. Okay, it turns out crushing the robot with a giant clamp is the non-violent option. I also could have run away and compressed the chamber and killed it with air pressure, but that's the violent way. I mean, I guess the compression is...
What? I mean, it's a robot, it's not a real sentient... It's It's not a real sentient, like, being. What?
Potentially more damaging to the chips? So, okay. That makes sense if we want to preserve these biochips in his head. But with the last robot, my options were to either turn on the fire sprinkler or else zap him with high voltage. I mean, he's short-circuiting either way. I guess the sprinkler is better? What if that corrodes the chips?
Yeah.
But then on Mars, we were blasting him with electrical charges as opposed to damaging the ship. I don't know. None of this is really striking me as less violent than the other. I mean, if you shoot your computer with a gun, yeah, that's going to mess it up. But if you connect live current straight to the CPU, that's going to fry it too. I mean, if this was a human, we could clearly...
This is a game where if I played it, I would literally... This is the last game I would ever expect to have like a fucking karma or like good versus evil's choice system. What the fuck? That serves no purpose.
Evaluate what's more violent. But it's a friggin' robot. We only need to shut it down. It doesn't feel pain, does it? What's the problem here? Why does it even matter if we stop it violently? And that brings me to my other issue in calling this the Gandhi bonus. Okay, I did not read a biography of Mohandas Gandhi in preparation for this episode. I'm sorry, everyone. But my limited knowledge of him knows that he was all about civil disobedience. Nonviolent resistance to an unjust authority. So far, so good. But what was Gandhi's stance on robots? Would he have had a problem with violence towards robots? Now, we can't know, of course, because they weren't around in his time, but if he ever intentionally damaged machinery for any reason, then I think we have our answer. Maybe some historians could weigh in. Plus, I have to wonder if robots wouldn't have altered his attitude a little bit. I mean, Gandhi was resisting the British Empire. Well, what if instead of sending in soldiers, you know, human beings, most of whom have a conscience, the British just sent in automated mechs programmed to quell any riots? So if there was a big protest, the mechs move in and start killing people until they disperse. What if they didn't even station soldiers in India and just outsourced everything to the mechs and their AI? Would Gandhi still be nonviolent against mechs? I don't know. I'm not convinced Gandhi would have a problem with me destroying this robot any way I wanted. Well, back to the future present again. I guess we've corrected history.
I can't wait to see the finale of this game, because what the fuck is that going to be, man? Holy.
Oh wait, not quite. I never finished Mars and Pegasus Prime. Okay, so we know what happens, but there are some differences. Now, the Mars maze looks a lot better and more interesting, and they do have the music. But wait, what did they do? They added this ominous wailing mixed in. No!
What the
This is
fuck?
a great theme. It's been corrupted now. Just because droning sounds may fit Mars better normally, too late. They got it right the first time. You can't fix what's not broken, and this is not an improvement to me. Whoa, not that way. And I was putting this off because I've already mentioned this in another episode, but what the hell are we doing walking around in the Martian atmosphere with just an air mask? Once again, there's this thing called air pressure. You know, game, the thing we killed a robot with? Now, Mars does have an atmosphere, but it may as well not. It's less than 1% of the air pressure of what we have on Earth. So your air mask would help, but you'd probably still black out, and I believe your blood and any other liquid in your body would eventually start boiling from the pressure difference. I don't even want to think about what it would do to your eyes. So yeah, this is no good, Journeyman. Anyway, the rest is mostly the same. We get another QuickTime event for the Mars chase, and it looks better, but the music here is a little too chill for a chase scene.
Yeah,
I mean, if this was playing in a bar and you wanted to relax, this music would work. I mean, compare that to the original where you get that ooh as the sun hits your eyes. Yeah, again, I think we lost something. The combat segment is way easier, and once again, the game does not screw you here. And that restores our timeline in both games. And our boss is now happy to see us, as opposed to ordering our execution. That's a difference. And yes, this is giving me double takes when I hear him telling me to stop Sinclair.
Get out in the field and find Sinclair, if you can.
I mean, Sin came out later than these games. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not. I mean, we both have evil scientists named Sinclair as our villains. Though Elliot's more complicated. It's not as simple as evil. I mean, we find out for the missile launch that he didn't actually want the missile to kill people. He just wanted to disrupt the peace talks going on, so he told the robot to detonate it in midair. So he's not a complete maniac, but then why did he use a robot that wanted to kill all humans?
The only good human is a dead human.
Also, he was talking with glee about killing everyone on Mars. So he's inconsistent, but he's a very human villain. So we've restored the timelines, but we still need to stop Sinclair, and I think I know where he is. And back in the original game, I once again get stuck. I was trying to leave the facility, I go to the teleporter, it wants me to insert my card, but where's my card? Did I leave it when I changed into the suit? I can't even get back into that room. I obviously used it to get here. What happened? So I checked the walkthrough and it says to use my card. Oh no. The game glitched. I once again cannot finish it. Somehow I don't have my transport card anymore. When did this happen? I can't find it in any of my old saves. Well, I guess this explains the elaborate keyring designs of the future. People keep losing their cards. You know how some people will carry their wallet on a chain as a security or fashion thing? Well, this feels like I have my wallet on a chain, only to look down and find somebody used bolt cutters on it, and now my wallet's gone. So not only was I right to be paranoid, I wasn't paranoid enough. Okay, I checked the footage. This is when it happened. I was done with the card, the game automatically moved it back to my inventory, then bam, that's when it disappeared. Looks like Agent 5 is a Butterfingers. I was doomed again and never knew it.
That is fucked, man. That is fucked.
I thought the whole point of the Journeyman Project Turbo was to fix the bugs. I guess I need the Turbo Nitrous Oxide Twin Exhaust Edition. Well, I'm not replaying the whole game. Thankfully, this isn't the most obscure game, and I was able to find some save files. Which is really what I should have done earlier, but all is not lost. But let's switch back to Pegasus Prime. This is another improvement since the game actually gave us a clue where Sinclair was. On the rooftop of Caldoria, ready to snipe some aliens. Well, we blow open the door with the keycard bomb we confiscated off his Mars robot, kill ourselves, then do it again, and if we approach him, apparently we're too slow to stop an old man with his back turned to us, and he snipes the aliens. I warned you. But if we flank him and he ignores us, even though we just blew a hole in the wall, then we get a clear shot with a stun gun we confiscated off his other robot and bring him down. But wait, there's more. Turns out Sinclair brought a nuclear bomb with him to go off with an elaborate disarming procedure.
Why does he hate the fucking aliens this much? He's willing to kill himself in a nuclear blast to fucking stop the peace talks. What the hell? Wait, so because he didn't put it into his inventory himself, it's gone forever? I don't think that's what happened. I think the game is supposed to give it to you automatically. It just didn't. Like, he was supposed to have it in his inventory when that cutscene ended, and he just didn't. The game completely glitched out, which is completely fucked up, man.
Just in case he couldn't get the shot off. And I would be okay with this, except we're on a timer. Come on. Well, while I'm trying to defuse the bomb here, I have to say Sinclair certainly brought his A game. I mean, he killed a lot of people in the past to solidify us never coming in contact with aliens. And here he is incapacitated and he's a bigger threat than ever. I think if the aliens knew just how close one man was to getting...
But this would just put humanity in a war that he doesn't know they can win. I don't think he thought that far ahead. I don't know, man.
Us
I
to
don't
declare
know what
war
to
on
say.
them, they might not be making contact like this. So I guess the lesson is, if we can hide how bad we are as a species, then we can join the Space Peace Coalition. Oh, and I think this answers our earlier question about security if he was able to smuggle in a sniper rifle and a nuclear bomb into Caldoria. Caldoria's security is not good. Anyway, I made it to stage 5, but the timer ran out. I wasn't fast enough. These are not simple puzzles to be giving me a timer. I ended up using a walkthrough here, not because I can't do this, but because I don't want to redo everything and speedrun the earlier stages just to give myself more time to think about stages 5 and 6. I don't like this design. But we disarm the bomb, our boss calls in telling us he thinks Sinclair is on the roof, and is glad we already did everything. Then my coworker bitterly congratulates me?
Wouldn't you know it? While we were all watching the future unfold, little boy Wonder here was saving the past.
This isn't a very functional agency. And that's it. It kicks me to the end screen, then the credits.
Oh, that ending sucks, man. That's it? There's no, like...
Push a preview.
It might be real. This is a rare case when I think a game is just not worth your time. Like, what was it? It wasn't fun. It didn't have, like, that much of an interesting premise. It didn't say anything. This is, like... Holy, this is kind of a, like, filler video game. Like, you were contracted to do 5 video games and you're like, point and click adventure, space time travel, robot, go.
Of Journeyman Project 2 on me. No, I'm not spoiling that for myself. Well, that ending's kind of lame. But I remember the originals being better. Am I right? Well, let's find out. I'm not sure the original gives us any reason to go to the roof, but we blow the door and this time are too cool to worry about explosions.
Get back! Don't try to stop me. This will end it one way or another. Get back!
Yeah, whatever. It's nap time, old man. And that's it. No nuke to disarm. And bam, kicks me to an end screen also. But then we get a slideshow recapping the adventure and some pretty good end music. Yeah, this music is a lot better. This is exactly the sort of thing I like to hear after saving the world. Why didn't the remake keep this? And that's the Journeyman Project. What to say? I guess first off, the remake really is different from the original. The original turned into such a minefield I can't really recommend it to anyone, but I feel like Pegasus Prime sold a little bit of its soul in the making. It was lacking that positivity. And this doesn't happen to me often, but I think my memory of the game was better than it actually is. It was impressive for the time, but I don't think it really holds up that well. Now the music holds up, and I think that's the reason I had fond memories of this. And I think the theme is still good too.
The music is definitely the high point of this. Holy.
But the execution, The Journeyman Project is unusual for a time travel story because except for 200 million BC, the entire game takes place in the future. I think that's a great idea, but the problem was everywhere we went was a boxed-in corridor and we didn't have much context. So we didn't really get a feel for each time period. We really needed the full tour of our various futures. I'm not even sure this game is in Utopia now. I think I was just assuming things. I'll have to keep looking. Except for liking the music just as much now as when I first played it, this whole thing has left me kind of confused. But you get too deep into time travel, and that's usually what ends up happening. So I guess it gets some points for authenticity, too. Okay, that's the episode. Stay tuned for... damn it. See, I don't even know which timeline I'm on anymore. I don't want to promise the wrong thing. Well, something's coming. I mean, we stopped the nuke, so yeah, we're good.
What a weird game. What a weird game. Okay, the live footage, like things like that, are fucking awesome, man. But I don't know if I would like ever subject myself to this game because, man, that ending really was lacking. Holy. Somebody traveled through time and as a result messed up the game, which is why Ross's memories are better. Yeah, that's probably it. And that's it for this video. If you are watching later on YouTube, thank you very much for watching and enjoying my content, and consider joining us on stream where we banter throughout all of the videos, you know. As you can see, the white void is right behind me. I'm gonna get molecularized soon, so yeah, enjoy the content while you can.